Hi, my name is Buzz, and welcome to my new series. I know I wasn't here for a few months. I got fleas and coronavirus, then carpal tunnel syndrome, and then again fleas. And I had some projects too that I needed to do, but I am here now. So, have you ever seen that small green displays that show text or some characters on them? Their name is Character CD, and they're using simple electronics that they want to show text or characters, sometimes numbers even. And I was around one of them someday, and I thought, what if I made one of them in Minecraft? So I know you're asking that how on earth do you want to build this, and I have your answers. I'm gonna show you some schematics of how I gonna build it in Minecraft, and then in my next videos I will show you to how to build each part and put it all together to make the device. But now you need to get familiar with some terms so you can understand this schematic. So the first topic that you need to get familiar with is binaries. Binary numbers are numbers that are based on two. You have a binary number up here, and you probably see them in computers and digital stuff. So Uh, it's maybe a little bit hard for you to get familiar with them, so I made this imaginary scenario. Think of a creature that has two fingers. Our counting system is based on 10 because we have 10 fingers and we used to count on them. And this imaginary creature will probably count on binaries. It's a little bit, again, imaginary, and it isn't very realistic, but it's the best way to get familiar and understand the binaries. So when they close their hand, it will be 0. When they use with only one finger, it will be 1, and two fingers, it will be 2. But binaries only have 0 and 1. So this will be 0, and then the 1 will be like our 9, and the package is completed. So here we have a package. We can't count with 1 digit in binary more than 1. So the package is completed, and then when they show 2, it will be 1, then 0, and it means 2 in binary, and it's kind of like our 10 because we show a full package that is completed, and uh, it's done with all of our fingers, and it's 10. So this is what that creature will count on, and it's a very good way to like visualize binaries. But there is other way to understand them, and it's more mathematical, but you need to put a digit, uh, uh, put a number under each of a binary number digits. So at the first digit, you will put the first power of 2, 3. Then you will put second power, and the third power, and you will go on and put the powers till you need. So we have 3 digits here, 3 digits here, and we put 3 powers down there. So, and then you see, you look at the number and see which of the digits are 1. We have 1 only here, and then you count the number under it. So we have only 4 here. But if you have another number like 3, uh, so if 1 here, then 2 here. You need to add them together if you have 2 numbers. So here we have 1 and 1 on top of 2 and 1. So we add them, and it will be equal to 3 of them. So our number here is 3. You can do this with all of binary numbers. It's a very fast mathematical way to convert them to decimal numbers. Decimal meaning are based on 10 system, 1 to 10 that we count on. And it is a very good way to transfer them. So this was binary numbers, and I hope that you understand them. So the next thing is binary decoders. Binary decoders are digital circuits that they're used in CPUs and computers a lot, and they're real life circuits that you can even buy the ICs of them. But their usage is to convert binary inputs to decimal output, and you will give them a binary number, and they will have a bunch of pins, and based on the binary number, one of these pins will be on or off. We will use this component in our schematics, and it's very important for you to understand it. So our binary number down here is 1001, and using the method that I showed you in the last part, you can understand how it what number it is. So and then 8. Here we put powers of 2 down here, and we see that 1 is at the top of 1 and 1 of 8. So add them together, 8 plus 1 equals to 9. And our binary decoder outputted 9. It is a drawing, but it works like this, and you eventually give it input and get an output of a pin that is turned on. Uh, Based on the pin numbers, you will have based of the binary pins, you will have a variable decimal output pins, like the biggest number that you can input to with you can make with 4 digits in binary is 16, and we have up to 15, and the 0 counts kind of like 16. Uh, sorry, you can make up to 15 with 4 digits of binary, and you'll have up to 15 in our decimal output. Um, this was binary decoders, and I hope that you understand. So this is a quite simple thing, and that I just you need to know the names of them. I just put these names on these things, and they are just made up, and they are not that much real. So you will the character LCD has a display, a big display that shows sentences, words, and numbers. So the display is made of, I think, 32 display cells. Each row has 16. Each row has 16, and it will be added up to 32. This display cell, each of them show a character or a number, and they are made of pixels. If I'm not wrong, the display cell is made of, I think, 5 by 8 or 5 by 7 pixels, and it is just this. There are pixels, then display cells, then so this is my first schematic that I made in my mind. It is old, and I didn't build this one because it was very big, slow, and probably it would work, but it wouldn't be so practical to build in. So how does it work? It will give you need to give it a binary input, a binary number input, and depending on the last bit of the binary number, well, oh, no, I don't. Yes, the last bit of the binary number, the switch will decide the rest of the binary number ends up here or here. So, like you give it a 5-bit binary number, or I think it was 6 bit. Yeah, you give it a 6-bit binary number, and it will cut off the last bit. If it is 1, it will go like here. If it is 0, it will go here. This switch does it all, and it takes the number and give it to each of these lines. So if the number ends up here in this line, it will go into the small binary decoder here, and the binary decoder will output each of it will have like these lines of output, and if one of these lines gets on, like the number like number 3, the third one gets on, this switch will be on and it will let the data from the memory go into the display cell. And if the switch is on, it means that the memory can print the character or the data on the display cell, and you can, so it's kind of, it's like the display cell is on. And if your number ends up in the other line and the it, like the last bit is, I don't know, is different from this one, it should go through all of these lines, like depending on how many characters that you have. That should be 32 of them in build, but I didn't build them. It will end up in all of these lines, and all of these memories and binary decoders will be active. And I think you kind of are getting that why I didn't build it. All of these ones, binary decoders and memories will be activated, and all of them will print the data out. But depending on the switch, if it was on or off, the number will get printed, or it will be just still here and it won't get past the switch. So I think you got why this was a bad idea to build, because we have a binary decoder here, we have a binary decoder memory each of these cells, and we have 32 of them. And let me like the memory of this thing is, I don't know, 60 by uh 40, 60 by 14 by 5 blocks, I think, in Minecraft, and it is just gigantic to build such a thing. And each of the display cells you wire it up to a memory and a binary decoder. This binary decoder is kind of at the size of the memory, but with the height of, I don't know, plus 5, 6 instead of 14, and it will go on the top of the memory, and it will need a lot of wiring. Each of these wires, this yellow line is like 27, 26 wires because of the alphabet, and this switch is very big. It isn't that small. It's just a drawing, but the switch isn't that this small. It is quite big, and the wire is very big. This wire here, like it's 5 by 7, and it may be possible to build such a thing, but it is very impractical. This was my first schematic, and the old one I just needed you to understand how I just developed the latest one. So this was it. So this is my latest working and very faster schematic. And as you can see, it is pretty like the last one that I showed you, but it is very smaller, and concept is quite the same. Um, you will give it input, and it will enter the binary decoder. Binary decoder will be actually split in half, and it will have 64 outputs, 32 for the memory, and 32 for the switches that we have here. We have just four of them, but we will need 32 of them because our display has 60 rows of 60 displays, so 16 displays. And our binary decoder will kind of work like the switch that I showed you, because the last bit is actually when you like uh, see how the switch works. It works kind of like a binary decoder. A binary decoder will see the last bit and output the rest through here to memory, or output the rest through here to the switches. And in the last design, we had a lot of these binary decoders that they weren't even needed, and a lot of memories that weren't needed. So we will give it the input, and the binary decoder will see the last bit and other bits and decide where the rest of the number will end up. If it ends up here, it will go through switches, or if it ends up here, it will go to the memory. And like here, this wire is made of 27 lines, 26 for the alphabet, and another one for a special character. And it will, if like each of these wires is on, the memory will print the character. The memory will print the character that you need, and here it will fire the switches. If each of these lines is on, the switch will be on, and the memory will print the character through all of these wires, and the wires are very big actually. And if the switch is on, you will have a character. If it isn't, you won't. It's a quite simple design actually. I very liked it, and it's very flexible. Uh, this was the schematic, and goodbye.